Am I the antagonist for not being interested in my stepkids? I have been married to my partner for several years. My partner has 2 kids, a 19-year-old son who is a senior in high school and a 13-year-old son who is in middle school. I also have a son who is 10. We have the kids 50% of the time. My partner and I usually get along great when it's just the 2 of us. We are usually good at times when it is just my son with us. When my partner's kids are here, it's a different story. The kids are all right. They are very passive and quiet and only speak when spoken to. They are polite enough, but will usually only give one-word answers when I attempt to have a conversation with them. They really don't have much personality at all. They are just kind of there. This has made it damn near impossible for me to form any kind of relationship with them. They just do not give me anything to work with, and I'm not even positive that they want to have any kind of relationship with me. I feel that both kids are extremely immature for their ages and have been coddled to the point where they are not going to be prepared for life as adults. From the beginning, my partner's kids have made it known that they only want to spend time with their parent and not me or my son. My partner has also told me that, although the kids are tight-lipped in my presence, they are chatty and engaging when they are just hanging out with my partner. My partner has lamented that they missed the relationship that they had with their kids before we moved in together, and that the kids are more distant and seem unhappy. To me, this is insinuating that my son and myself are the problem. As a result, I have pretty much told my partner that they are free to go out and do things with their kids, and I will find things to do with my son separately. We go out to eat separately. We take separate vacations with our kids. We basically all live in the same house, but there is very limited contact between them and us. It is not ideal because, in my perfect world, everyone would just be cool and would be able to all do things together. My partner is highly offended and accuses me of not liking their kids. This is not true. It's not that I do not like the kids. The kids are fine. I try to be thoughtful of them, and if I see something they might like at the store, I buy it. If I come across an activity that they might like, I will send my partner the information. It's not that I don't like them. I just do not have a bond with them at all. I do care for them. I want them to be happy during their time at our home, and I want to make sure that they have the best relationship with my partner as possible. This is the reason I do not join them on outings anymore. If they are only able to feel comfortable and enjoy their parent without me around, then I am okay just bowing out. So am I the jerk here? Because my partner certainly thinks so. This is a serious sore spot in our marriage, and the effects usually last even after the kids all go back to their other parents. I say you're not the antagonist, and I'm sorry that respecting the kids' boundaries is resulting in tension in your marriage. Your spouse needs therapy to accept that his kids are not interested in a family with you. You cannot change that. Have you tried sitting down with your spouse and their kids and asking the kids what they want? It seems like an open dialogue would be better than everyone making assumptions. Am I the antagonist for agreeing with my mom and telling my sister that she should care more about her physical attributes if she wants people to consider her in a professional setting? My sister Mary is very smart and doing really well in law school academically, but she does not have good personal hygiene habits at all. She knows to keep good hygiene but just doesn't. She'll usually go 3 but sometimes even 5 or 7 days without showering, including when she's on her period. We live in a very warm area and it smells really bad. Like so bad that sometimes it's hard to be in a small room with her. Mom tells Mary that she should be showering every day, but Mary just says that she's too tired to, and she doesn't like showering anyway. Mom got Mary a Peri bottle too to help her stay clean down there, but I doubt Mary actually uses it. Mary hasn't been taking care of her hair either. She's dyed it a couple times but hasn't been doing the upkeep she's supposed to, so it's really frizzy and the colors are kind of mashed together, if that makes sense. She doesn't brush it either, so it's really tangled too. I'm going to be honest, it looks really bad and she looks very unkempt in general. According to Mary, almost all of her classmates have jobs or other law internships, but she's struggling to find work. She has a great resume and will get an interview very easily, but she never makes it beyond the in-person interview. Mom's told her gently many times that Mary needs to work on her personal hygiene and appearance with her hair, but Mary really hasn't listened at all. Then a few weeks ago, a firm came to Mary's school offering internships. Some classmates, she says, are much less competent than her, got the internships, but she didn't. That's when Mom stopped sugarcoating it and told Mary that she needs to fix her hair and starting showering daily because she is never going to get hired by a law firm if she keeps looking unkempt the way she does right now. Mom and Mary got into a big argument over it. It got pretty heated and they both said some things that were out of line. Mary came to me to tell me that she thinks our mom is shallow and only cares about appearances. I agreed with Mary that Mom did go pretty far in the argument, but that she isn't being shallow. She's giving you professional advice. Law is a profession where you are judged based on physical attributes like appearance and smell. If you seem like you don't take care of yourself, a client is going to assume you won't take care of their case and will pick someone else. It doesn't matter how competent you actually are, that's just how it works. Mary got pissed off at me and accused me of trying to suck up to Mom. Mary still is being super short with me and Mom and giving one-word answers to everything. I think Mary should realize that we're trying to help her. She's already missed out on a lot of opportunities and will keep missing out on more if she doesn't start caring more about her physical attributes. Mom honestly should have stopped sugarcoating it a while ago. Am I the asshole? Mary needs to find a way to present herself as put together in order to find a job. Good personal hygiene is important for success in adult spaces, and it seems like she has little to none. Perhaps a therapist can help her figure out what's behind this behavior and address any potential issues. Would I be the antagonist if I didn't go to my sister's wedding because my BF isn't invited? I, 42-year-old male, am significantly older than my sister, 19-year-old female, Isla. Even though we have both the same parents, they had me young and her old. Despite this, we are super close and always have been even though I was in my 20s when she was born. We are closer than most of my friends are with their siblings, and she is one of my best friends. Isla is getting married in 2 months to her fiancé, 20-year-old male. They are having a bit of a non-traditional mixed wedding party on both sides, and Isla asked me to be her best man of honor. I'm the only family member in her wedding party. One of their wedding rules is no boyfriends, girlfriends at the wedding, and your partner can only come if you are married. This makes sense as most of her friends are 17, 25 in relationships that only last a short time, and you don't want random people in your wedding pictures. I thought she'd make an exception for me though, which I know sounds selfish, but hear me out. I have been dating my boyfriend Scott, 45-year-old male, since I was 21. He has been my boyfriend longer than Isla is alive. We are not married because Scott's cousin is a gay man living in a country where being gay is illegal, so we have decided not to get married in solidarity until he can get married. Scott is like a second brother to Isla, and she has known him her entire life and loves him. In her teenage phase, Isla would run away to our flat and hang out with us for hours, and these days she is always coming around to talk to me and Scott. She is also not homophobic. She's been super supportive of me and all her queer friends, and is always bragging to her mates about me and Scott. Me and Scott love each other, have lived together for 15 years, and are very committed to each other. It's not like some fling. Isla told me that she couldn't make an exception because it would look like favoritism, and no unmarried couples means no unmarried couples. I asked if she could invite Scott separately and she said no, though she was very apologetic to him and on the verge of tears in a way I'd never seen her. I told her that unfortunately, me and Scott are a package deal, and if he wasn't invited, I wouldn't be going. I worry that it might be because her boyfriend is homophobic. I have never liked him for other reasons. But she is very resistant to criticism of him, and if you try to say he's done anything wrong, she'll get super defensive. Isla herself just said that she understands why I don't want to go, and she hopes this won't ruin our relationship, but her fiancé and my parents are both really angry at me and saying that I am being selfish and an asshole and taking the attention away from Isla. Scott has also said he thinks I should go to support her, and although he is upset about not being invited, I shouldn't miss my sister's wedding day. I really thought Scott at least would be on my side as we are both very upset about him not being invited, but it seems that no one is on my side, so am I the asshole? Not the antagonist. This whole situation is bizarre and reeks of homophobia. Your teenage sister getting married should be the bigger issue here. Why won't she invite Scott separately if they're so close? She practically shrugged off your absence. It's time to have a conversation and get to the bottom of this. Am I the antagonist for saying I can't in good conscience write a character reference for my sister? My sister AmITheA has 2 children, Theodore, 11, and Anthony, 14. Anthony was born with a disability that means he has very high support needs, and this is something that was diagnosed before birth. AmITheA split up with her ex Brad over this while she was still pregnant. Brad pays child support for both children, but only has partial custody of Theodore. Both AmITheA and Brad should have done a better job of protecting Theodore from the realities of the divorce, but unfortunately, he is well aware that they split up because of issues surrounding Anthony, and this has caused problems. Which, as a child of divorce, I can understand. Everyone's quality of life declined as a result of the divorce. He hates Anthony and blames AmITheA, and only ever wants to be at his dad's with his step-siblings. It has been painful to watch my sister become a shell of herself and her relationship with Theodore sour on both sides. It's easy to say he's just behaving badly, which he is, but she has run out of patience with him and gives him no grace when it comes to his valid feelings. At the end of last year, Theodore's teacher called his parents in over a creative writing assignment in which he expressed some thinly veiled feelings about Anthony, and the teacher was concerned. Theodore is now in therapy. This incident prompted Brad to take Theodore's begging to live with him full-time seriously and is now suing for full custody, and AmITheA is fighting it. She asked me to write a character reference for her and I said no. I was honest that I didn't feel comfortable advocating against Theodore's wishes, especially when I've seen firsthand how they are both struggling with the way things are. AmITheA was furious, saying I was a bad sister for not helping her, and that if she couldn't even get one person who thought she was a good enough mother to keep seeing her son, then she would lose him. She also said if Theodore gets his way now, she will not be able to repair their relationship. I understand all of that, but the way I see it, her having him around is damaging the relationship. More importantly, I don't think I have any right to say, I think Theodore should be somewhere he doesn't want to be. I love him and I spend as much time with him as I can, but I'm not qualified, professionally or personally, to know what's best for him. I said all this to AmITheA, but all she heard was that I wouldn't help her keep her child. Our mom and stepdad also said no, and she is now not speaking to any of us. The only person who said yes is our dad, but he barely knows the kids. He only said yes because he's just the ride or die type, and he is a flake, so I doubt he'll ever send the letter. The point is, I don't think AmITheA is a bad mother, but I just don't feel right putting my name to something I don't feel sure about, even if I may contribute to an outcome she didn't want. Does that make me the asshole? Not the antagonist. Your sister isn't putting Theo's best interests first, and instead putting her own. It's a terrible situation, and messy, but it's not your mess to clean up. It's not right for her to try and guilt you into this. It's awful that she's losing her child like this, but if nobody would write that letter for her, it's kinda telling that it's the right choice for Theo. Am I the antagonist for reacting wrong to my brother's engagement? So on Sunday, I, 19 years old female, learned on a Zoom call with my family that my brother Harry, 22 years old male, has just gotten engaged to his girlfriend Jessica. When Harry told us, everyone but me was pretty enthusiastic, but I just kinda sighed and said nothing. Harry didn't display any reaction towards my admittedly lukewarm response, but afterwards my mom called me and told me that I was rude for not being excited. She said that I need to respect all members of the family, including Jessica, and that I need to reconsider my behavior if I want to be invited to our vacation in the spring. Harry and I were really close growing up. Since he, and then I, started college, we've been less close, but him and I still talk every week or two. Harry and Jessica have been together for around 2 years now. Here's where it gets complicated. I knew Jessica back in high school, and she was not what you would call a kind soul. She had a particularly nasty streak. She would not pay attention during class and always tried to cheat off of people's homework, and I assume got away with it. She tried, semi-successfully, to steal my boyfriend. She bullied one of my best friends, calling her fat among other things. This bullying worsened, if not caused altogether, her eating disorder, and it's something I've never been able to forgive or forget. She is just one of those people who would just mess around with other people's lives like it's a game and not something she is invested in. About 6 months ago, I had a heart-to-heart with Harry about Jessica. I laid out my concerns and the history of her behavior, hoping it might make him reconsider or at least think deeply about their relationship. He said he'd consider what I said, but didn't continue the conversation much more. Since then, we talked regularly as usual, and things seemed normal between us. He didn't talk about Jessica often, but he didn't hide their relationship either. I really was happy. It sounded like it might be dying off though. I had no idea he was getting engaged to her until he announced it. I don't know if he has been telling other people in the family besides me, or if it was really just an abrupt decision. To make it worse, I am worried that he told Jessica about our conversation 6 months ago. In her announcement on Facebook, annoying ring on hand photograph in tow, she wrote something like, "I know not everyone in our families are supportive, but we have each other and that's what matters." So he ignored my warning and he told her all about it. Part of me wonders if I should just swallow my feelings for the sake of family harmony, but another part of me feels like I'd be betraying my old friend, my own values, and my brother by pretending to be happy about this engagement. And I am bad at holding back my truth. So, am I the antagonist for feeling upset and possibly wanting to voice my concerns again, even though it might cause friction in my family? Or should I just keep my feelings to myself and let Harry make his own decisions and mistakes? Your mother calling you rude for not being excited is manipulative behavior and unfair. It's unfortunate that your brother sided with Jessica, but it's best to tread cautiously moving forward. Don't feel pressured to change your feelings or pretend to be enthusiastic if you're not. Keep your guard up and prioritize your own well-being in this situation. Would I be the antagonist for putting back up wind chimes after a neighbor from another street asked me to take them down? I, 29 years old male, live alone on a small street of townhouses which is right off of a major road in my city. Next to us on this road are new 15-20-story condominiums, which went under construction shortly after I moved in. I've lived here for almost 8 years now. This is not a quiet street or road. Traffic is constantly going by at high speeds. Engines revving, horns blaring, police ambulance, fire truck sirens. I've had neighbors with dogs who bark almost constantly through the day and night. Construction is omnipresent with how many new condos are going up. Jackhammers at 8 a.m. sharp. One of my neighbors of 5 years can be heard coughing violently and hacking and gagging at 3 a.m. from my bed. For the 3 months ago, one of my neighbor's fire alarm's battery starting chirping to indicate low battery, and it's loud enough I thought it was my own fire alarm on a different floor at first. They still haven't replaced it. Now the reality of it all is, we live in a busy, noisy city. I've never complained about these things to my neighbors because the fact is cities are noisy, and that's part of living with it. Perhaps it's also just that in our, frankly, cheap and under-maintained, townhouses we have a higher tolerance of stuff that makes us raise complaints. We're just trying to get by. While trying to take a bit more effort in making my place not a shitty student rental but a cozy, welcoming home, I got a set of wind chimes to hang on my front porch. They are loud enough that I can hear them from inside my house, but I don't hear them when I'm wearing my headphones at my computer. I had them up for a few days without incident, one of which was a very windy night. On about the 5th day, a stranger, close to my age, also male, knocks on my door. He explains that he lives on the 10th floor of the new condos, and that my wind chimes can be heard constantly, even throughout the night, and asks that I take them down. Admittedly, I'm by default a very conflict-averse person in real life. I explained to the guy that I would, but also that I thought it was a bit much when all of the other noises of our area were far more obnoxious and just as constant. He didn't really seem to care, just said they were bothersome and asked if I would. It shouldn't irk me as much as it does, but man, they're wind chimes. I wasn't blasting 24/7 rock music or hammering sheet metal. None of the people who live on my street, and were squished in tight, commented on them. And they could have been just as annoyed as this guy, but like the coughing woman or fire alarm house or barking dogs, we just shrug and deal with it. Having neighbors means sometimes they do stuff that annoys you. You pick your battles of what's worth causing trouble. The more I think on it, the more indignant I feel about it all. I'm usually one who is happy to accommodate others when asked, but this felt ridiculous. I want to be sympathetic, but I can't help but see this guy as just entitled. You're the antagonist. The problem with wind chimes is that they are just constant. They chime in the slightest wind and wake me up at 3 a.m. Most of those other sounds happen as a result of something else needing to happen. Yours is the only one that exists purely just because noise. Wind chimes are antisocial noise pollution. Just because they are not as bad as blasting music does not mean that they are not still incredibly annoying. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.